Hey, this is Joel with American Giants, and I just thought it'd be a great opportunity to visit Atlantis Plumbing down in Dallas, Georgia. This is owned by my friend Mike, who worked with me a number of years ago when I was helping to sell all the stuff at Magic Forest. And a lot of these giants are from Magic Forest. I thought this would be a great opportunity to kind of go back in time a little bit to 2018 and talk about that trip, talk about the history behind these guys way before Magic Forest, from International Fiberglass to the Danbury Fair, to Magic Forest and their years there, and then the sale of those giants, and then what Mike has done with them here at Atlantis Plumbing, and the two others he has in town. And this history not only includes these guys, but it also includes the Uniroyal girl that I found in Florida and her whole history and her restoration that we've never really talked about, as well as some other giants that he has. So join me for a small documentary once again as we just use this tour and this trip to Dallas, Georgia, to really go back and talk about the history and what's happened over the last 10 years with all of these giants. International Fiberglass, the company that took full advantage of the fiberglass advertising craze of the early 60s and populated the US with many of the fiberglass statues of that era. The company made dozens of custom statues for different businesses, as well as a larger, more eye-catching statue known as the Muffler Man. International Fiberglass took that original Paul Bunyan giant, sculpted by Bill Swan, and created numerous characters, including cowboys, snurds, pirates, and Vikings, to name a few. They also produced a female version for Uniroyal Tire known as Miss Uniroyal. In the mid-60s, these giants were deployed nationwide, with a few of the females making their way to Florida to promote Uniroyal Tire, while many of the other giants were shipped to the Northeast to stand at amusement parks and businesses. In 1821, the town of Danbury, Connecticut held its first agricultural fair, but it was not until 1869 that the fair became an annual event. By the mid-60s, the fair took full advantage of the fiberglass figures pouring out of California and soon boasted one of the largest collections of fiberglass figures, many of them having been made by International Fiberglass. The statues dotted the landscape of the fair and gave it a very unique and festive environment. Many of the fair's shows and spectacles were shadowed by the towering giants. By the time the fair was closed and sold in 1981, there were 7 Muffler Men on the grounds and many other smaller giants and statues. A large auction was held and everything was sold. 2 of the larger giants then made their way to Magic Forest in Lake George, New York. Behind the wheel of the truck and trailer load of giants was a young man named Jack Gillette. Just landed in Chicago, Midway. Headed up to Albany, Magic Forest. We were up there in October to take pictures of the inventory so we could help them sell everything on our website. Now we're going to help them take all 4 Muffler Men down. 3 of them are getting loaded on trucks and headed down to Atlanta. It's been snowing, it's cold, it's raining, miserable weather. Bad time to go to New York, but Muffler Men, they need restoration and transport all times of year, so that's what we're here for. Alright, Michael and I are at Magic Forest after a very short night. It is about 39 degrees here, very rainy. I don't know why we are attracting all this rain. We had it in Texas, and now we've got it up here in Albany. But we can see the Muffler Men waiting for us. Jack's on his way over. Jack was the owner of Magic Forest for many, many years. Took it over from his father. So we don't know what to expect today.
So we finally got out of the car, a little rainy, but we're gonna check these guys out and see how they're attached so we can figure out the best way to take these guys down. So we're gonna truck through the snow to the first guy and see what we got. Plow truck. He's right into the rocks. We're in New York. It's the end of January. And it's rain/snow, and we're digging out Muffler Men. Of course we're crazy. Yep, he's got buttons.
Woohoo! He is a classic bunion.
Okay, so we got to the halfwit, and he is in a lake of water. We don't think there was originally a lake here, but with all the snow melt and stuff, so we're digging a trench, trying to get the water drained off, so when we're ready to take him down, it's free to go.
We've been to all 4 of them now to assess how they're bolted in, how we're going to get them out, what order we want to take them out. Mike is back there trying to dig the clown out here, and this actually used to be a pirate when he was first made by International Fiberglass. Our crew is leaving. Had a few guys here to help us. And because of the weather today, the lift company doesn't want to deliver the SkyTrack. So without a SkyTrack, we can't really do anything. There's only so much we can do, you know, before we need a lift. Really nothing. You can't really unbolt them, right? You don't want them falling over. So we'll walk around a little more, see if we can come up with some other solutions. All right, we are getting somewhere now. Later in the day, still pretty cold, but or wet. Michael's tying on the straps. We're gonna try to, we can't get up high enough with this equipment to attach onto the eye bolt. So Michael's going up the legs, and hopefully we can snug this under his armpits. And we'll see how this goes back here. I still got him bolted in, Michael.
I know. I still gotta cut a strap. Whoa!
Whoa!
We'll take that anchor out then. I gotta cut this other strap. So these are all guide wires, but all the stuff's rusted, so we're literally using the hammer method to break them apart.
Nice and easy. Hang on. Well, Mike, what if we're all on the leg?
We got him down. He's now laying in the snow, waiting for the excavator to get moved around, and we'll keep carrying him out. So because of all the nice, lovely rain that we constantly run into around here with these jobs, our poor little excavator, he's having a little trouble getting up the hill out of here. So he's fighting his way out.
Morning number 2. No rain today, a little cold, much better weather. We're gonna see if we can get the last 3 down today. Starting on the bunion here. Whole bunion right there.
I want to see you cut a tree down with that thing, Mike.
not all of Jack's giants at Magic Forest came from the Danbury Fair. This Bunyan version came from Tennessee and was still in his original crate, never used, when Jack found him. He had obviously been ordered from International Fiberglass and shipped to the buyer, but things never panned out and he was never unboxed. Next, we tackled the clown statue, which certainly has some interesting history. The clown originally stood and was ordered by Ocean Playland in Ocean City, Maryland. It was installed when the park opened in 1965 and stood high above the entrance to the park near the monorail. After a few years, the park's name changed to Playland Park. At that point, the pirate was taken down and an artist transformed him into a clown. Balloon clown pants were added, and the hat was transformed, and the statue was repainted and given juggling balls to hold. He was reinstalled where the pirate was and remained there until the park closed around 1980. When the park closed, the clown was purchased by Benson's Wild Animal Park in Hudson, New Hampshire. When that park closed its doors in 1987, there was a massive auction, and Jack picked up the clown as well as numerous other items. Today, it is his last day standing at Magic Forest, and it certainly wasn't easy getting him down.
Cut! Whoa!
The clown was secured to the platform with multiple metal brackets that had to be grinded off. When we finally got him off his pedestal, we moved him to the middle of the park and prepared to lay him down. His hat created an obstruction from laying him down, and a previous crack in his neck gave way under the stress. We had to relocate the lift and take his head off completely before continuing to lay him down. A big thanks to my friend Greg Holmes for shooting all this footage. He and Steve Keeler were on site to pick up statues of their own.
Hello, Steve. You can find me on Instagram if you want. Rock Fantasy Concert Shop, that's me.
You're over the back.
Every Muffler Man is unique and has its own twists and challenges. We had a great team at Lake George, and it was interesting to observe Jack as he watched the statues come down. This man had collected these giants one by one in the 80s and watched countless families enjoy them. Today, that era was coming to an end. The Pecos statue we discovered was actually an original Paul Bunyan underneath. He also had history at the Danbury Fair, where he first was a Bunyan and then was transformed using Scholastic into a Pecos cowboy character. When Danbury closed its doors, he was purchased along with the Viking statue by Benson's Wild Animal Park. These both would join the clown statue at Benson's until the park's huge auction in 1987, when Jack purchased the Pecos along with the clown. By the time we took him down in 2018, he was in terrible condition and very hard to free from his spot at Magic Forest.
Yep, he's free. Got him.
Jack donated him to American Giants in return for our help with the sale of his statues, and he was taken down and stored at Magic Forest before being shipped to Mark Klein's and eventually making his way to our shop in Illinois. In 2021, we loaned him to Netflix for a few months, and he was shipped to South Carolina, and he was used in the series Florida Man. He was returned to us fully restored, and we still have him in storage at our shop. The clown was not at Atlantis Plumbing when I visited. It had laid on the ground for a number of years after Mike obtained him, and Mike was unsure what to do with him. It was speculated by us that the transformation done by Ocean Playland into a clown was irreversible. However, in 2023, Mike started ripping the added fiberglass off, revealing the original pirate underneath. Even the head was found somewhat intact when all the clown face was ripped off. After stripping the clown back down to the original pirate, the Muffler Man was shipped to Mark Klein in Virginia to restore him to a Bunyan Muffler Man. It was exciting to take the Muffler Men down at Magic Forest. At the same time, there was a sadness in the air. As one by one, the figures that made Magic Forest what it was came down and were hauled away. We were witness to the close of a chapter, and yet, for each giant leaving the park, a new one was opening.
Push. Push. Keep coming. Keep coming.
As soon as the purchase was completed in Lake George, New York, the first stop for this guy was at Mark Klein's shop in Virginia, because Mike really wanted to return this guy back to what he was originally. And he was originally a snurd. Now, the snurds were made in two different colors. They could be made with a red shirt and blue pants, or they could be made with a yellow shirt and blue pants. And of course, the patches are very typical of the snurds. And as you know, this guy had a wild ride in his history and was changed into a different character completely during his time at the Danbury Fair and at Magic Forest. But Mike really wanted that classic snurd look. So Mark Klein did the job, got that yellow shirt and the suspenders back on there and the patches back on there, and then Mike brought him down here to Georgia and set him up here on the lot. One thing we noticed right away with this guy was that he was a Bunyan, but he didn't have the knit cap, so it's kind of a bendo head like the one right there. But what Jack Gillette had in storage was incredible. It was actually a hat, a bunion hat that was removable. We've never seen anything like that, haven't seen it since. It's the only one we know that they did that with, and it's incredible that they actually took the time to make that knit cap to come off. Now, Mike has never displayed that knit cap with this guy. He's just had it displayed the way that they did at Magic Forest. Although very, very recently, Mike did add a cowboy hat that Mark Klein made from a mold that we actually obtained from Glenn Good. So when the Glenn Good Giants sold, we were given the mold for the hat, and Mark Klein made some copies, and now we have the mold. But one of those copies was for Mike, and he turned this guy into a bunion cowboy kind of variation. This guy is near and dear to my heart because his history is really intertwined with my early days of hunting for these giants. So Ralph's Muffler in Indianapolis, Indiana, they had a Mr. Bendo to advertise the fact that they had a machine that could bend your muffler pipes. That's what Mr. Bendos were for. And they liked it so much that they wanted one at their other shops in the early 70s. Well, guess what? International Fiberglass had quit, and they were no longer selling giants in the early 70s, and there were no more Mr. Bendos available. So Ralph's Muffler Shop hired a local fiberglass shop to make a mold off of theirs and two more giants. They had a massive battle with the city over this thing, and the city would not let them set up these giants. So Ralph took the giants to his house in the suburbs, actually in the country outside of Indianapolis. And these guys with the molds sat for years in storage. So what are we doing, Michael?
We're building Joel a frame so he can carry his Muffler Men in style.
I think it was a tip on Roadside America. Somebody mentioned that there was extra giants or molds, and Ralph had passed over the years. I talked to his son, and we went to Ralph's Mufflers. One of the pairs of pants actually was in the muffler shop where the Mr. Bendo in Indianapolis was. So we went there way back in like 2012. I did. Indianapolis, Indiana. And I've got my jerry-rigged frame. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Perfect fit on my trailer. I'm pleased and surprised. There are a couple looks from people who are passing by. Ralph's widow, his wife, a few years later, I was able to talk to her and go and get the rest of the molds and the other giant.
Can you give me a hand?
The American Giants team and I went to their property, and we literally went into the woods and uncovered all these mold pieces that were in the woods, along with a pair of legs. I think they had the torso and the heads in their basement of their house, and we pulled all these out and took them back to our shop. And those were some of my first giants. And my original idea was that I was going to put the legs with the snurd that I got in Detroit. In the end, I kept the giants together, and then I sold them. This is in the early days of American Giants, and the money was crucial to getting us going and to cover a lot of our expenses back then. And so I sold both of the giants, one to Mike here, this one, and then the other one went to Stone Resort, south of Kansas City, in I think on the Missouri side, right along the border there of Kansas and Missouri. So he stands there, and then Mike has this guy here. So this guy's dear to my heart because that head was in my basement for many years, and the pants I think were in the carport where I parked my truck at my old house in Illinois. So a lot of memories for me. I remember when Mike came up and the night we sold this, and Mike, I think, pulled an all-nighter and drove him back down here and then painted him. So he's not red and white anymore like the typical Bendo. He's got the blue pants, more of the Bunyan colors, but he is a Mr. Bendo, but he's not international fiberglass. So that's the story of Mr. Bendo. Mike's done a great job of displaying his statues. He's got some in town, and then he's got these three here. If he's open, you can drive in and check them out. And then, if you, this is his business here. He's got some gorillas from Magic Forest, and I believe that's Captain Crook. Might be from Magic Forest. I know Magic Forest had one. I've always wished I would have bought it when I had the opportunity, but maybe Mike got them. I'm not sure where that one came from. Inside, there is actually an Esso tiger, and there is another Bunyan head that came out of Phoenix, Arizona. So Mike's got even more Muffler Men history and international fiberglass stuff inside. Not far from Mike's office is two of his other Muffler Men giants, a Uniroyal girl that I found in Florida. And let's dive into her history real quick. The Uniroyal Gal, the 1966 fiberglass advertisement solution for Uniroyal tire. Like Muffler Men, these girls came with trailers and platforms and were shipped nationwide. One was shipped to the Orlando area and spent time at Griffith Tire in Winter Garden. Over the years, the business changed names a few times, and eventually she was purchased by a used boat dealer on Highway 50. She disappeared altogether in 2002, and after years of searching, I tracked her down to a local backyard in 2016 and purchased her shortly after. Alright, we're here this morning. We picked up a Uniroyal girl out of Winter Garden, Florida yesterday morning, and this morning we are going to pull her out of the truck, and I'm going to go to work washing her and get a bunch of the junk off her and then see what condition she's in. Started blasting, pressure washing the back of the Uniroyal girl here, and that paint's just flying off. So one of the paint jobs was really lousy. And I'm going right down to the first red, so now we know she was red. I thought she was yellow, but the yellow all blew right off, so she was a red.
So another pickup, take to the shop. We're gonna try to get this thing loaded without hurting ourselves or the girl, and take it home to the shop.
Alright, I've been working all day, and Terrence and Will have come in this evening, and we've got the back of her all done. So she's come a long way today, and now the guys are going to flip her. They've already sanded the front, but we've got a couple little spots to touch up. One cool thing is down here, you can see the International Fiberglass logo. Right there. I'm going to be very careful not to sand this because we want to leave that so everyone can know in the future that this is an original.
Okay, so we got the back all cut out. As you can see, we put 2 screws in her. That's so we have handholds to get her out. And there we go. Back's off. And start working on the internal structure. So we're starting the welding tonight of the foot plate.
Well, we got the bodywork done and laying down some test primers.
This is actually the first time I've gotten to see this girl here in Dallas, Georgia. So I missed the setup on this one. I normally always fly out with the crew when they do a setup, but this one I wasn't able to join, so she got set up. So that's why we have like hardly any video of her going up because I'm the videographer in this team, and I edit and I shoot the videos. And when I'm not around, Michael's way too busy to mess with that stuff when he's doing a setup. Probably one of my best memories is finding that Uniroyal girl like that in the rough, and then picking her up and restoring her. A fantastic job done by the American Giants restoration crew. And then Mike purchased her. Again, you know, these sales really help American Giants, but probably one of the ones I regret a little bit because they're so hard to find. Back to this guy here. He is a Bell Plastics muffler man, made custom for Mike. Just got a fresh paint job, so he's looking brand new here, and he overlooks this really busy intersection. So it's a really nice spot that Mike's got him here. But Bell Plastics has made a handful of copies, just like Mark Klein has over the years, and this is a Bell Plastics muffler man. That's one thing I really enjoy about the Giants and the Muffler Men is the history. You know, you can take a lot like this where you have a bunch of characters at a business, and then you can dive so deep into their history and the stories behind them and everything they've been through and everything that the current owners and the past owners have done to them, and the changes to these guys alone. And the girl we saw in town is just incredible. What all the changes and the different characters they've been. So I think that's one thing I really enjoy, is just all that rich history. So many people have enjoyed these Giants that are now long gone, and yet they are still telling their story. So thanks for coming on the journey with me today and going back in time. And if you get a chance, make sure you stop in the town of Dallas, Georgia, and check out Mike's collection.